Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for the Generation Y Conservative podcast. Tonight, we talk about a millennial cruise line that's about to launch. We have a vegan who climbed Mount Everest to prove that vegans can do anything that the rest of us can do. Didn't end too well for her, though. Also, an NFL team is making the news, but not for protesting, but instead baptizing some of their players. High five, Mike. It's one of your favorite teams.
Oh, yeah.
Ellen screws up on the one interview that the security guard from the Mandalay Bay mass shooting allows. Also, one college holds a practice Halloween to make sure that costumes aren't insensitive. Which leads us right into our next topic, actually. A demon-horned drag queen reads to children at the Michelle Obama Public Library. Yeah, you heard me right on that one. It's a demon-horned drag queen.
Yeah.
Kind of feeding off of one after another here. We got Playboy is featuring a transgender woman for their centerfold this November. We also have parents are infuriated at a sex worksheet that's given out to preteens. And we go over some of the hashtag #MeToo discussion. We talk about these stories and more. This is the Generation Y Conservative Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Generation Y Conservative Podcast. I'm glad you could join me tonight. I am Chris, and I am joined again by my co-host tonight, Mike.
Hello, hello.
We weren't on last week, and we have a built-up array of topics. And to be honest with you, we don't have enough time to go over in detail some of the big stuff that even happened this week.
Oh my God!
There's a lot of things coming out that we won't be going over. Is like this whole investigation into Hillary Clinton and Russia, not Trump and Russia.
Yeah.
All these ties that are coming out now on them.
We can cover it in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
All the stuff you heard that Trump was doing in Russia, Clintons were doing
the
it
whole time.
End of story.
So,
Burn.
yeah. So we got things like that going on. So just in case you're new to the podcast and everything, you can follow me. You might be watching right now on Facebook Live. You can tune in on Thursdays or Fridays. We go live. So do me a favor, head over to the Generation Y Conservative page, hit like on there, and then go over to get notifications. Head down and get notifications so that you're able to know when we actually go live. Also, at the bottom of your screen right now, you may be seeing a couple other social media links as well. Twitter is at Gen Y without the conservative, at Gen Y Conservative without the E on the end, so you can interact with me there. And also the YouTube channel. Search for the Generation Y Conservative on there, hit subscribe, and then you can also hit the bell notification to be notified when we publish videos. Now, the YouTube social media for us is actually very interesting because it's not just a podcast, which have been being blocked by YouTube anyway, so you might not even see us there anyway. Yeah. But we actually are fighting with disputes. I've won 2 already for the videos for copyright content because apparently YouTube just wants to use a hammer and go through and do all these bans on all these things and strike down conservative videos especially. And they're using different things like copyright laws to go after people too, especially because it gets tied up in a system for so long. Now, they apparently don't understand or don't want to go through very quickly the Fair Use Act, which allows copyrighted content to be commentated on, opinionated on, obviously, criticized, or used in parody. That's exactly all that we're doing on the podcast. So as I file these disputes, it may take a little bit longer for the podcast and HD audio and video to get onto YouTube, but we're winning these things. And I think that it's worth that fight every single time, every single step of the way. Along those same lines, Prager University is suing YouTube for one of their things in legal battle. So it's just always a fight. Yep. So also, just in case you're tuning into the audio portion of the podcast, you can actually catch this podcast re-aired on Sundays from 3 to 6 p.m. on KLRN Internet Radio. Just search for them on Twitter or their website and everything. And they have a bunch of great content, a lot of political shows on there. There's some science shows and everything else. I would encourage you to head over there and check that out as well. They were gracious enough to take my podcast and also post it onto iTunes. So if you are an iTunes subscriber, and that's the way you get some of your audio podcasts, I would suggest that you head over to iTunes and search in the iTunes store for the Generation Y Conservative. It'll show up as the Generation Y Conservative podcast by KLR and Internet Radio, and you can subscribe to it there. So we have I hear constantly from people that subscribe to the iTunes on there and listen to it at work and everything. So that's great. I truly appreciate everyone that tunes in to hear us or watch us and everything. And all I can say is we got to make these things grow. So subscribe, like the page, and keep on pushing the content and sharing it as well, especially with friends and family that might be interested. So every single month since this podcast started, we have been spotlighting a charity throughout the month and focusing on them that we feel is something that's worthwhile giving to, especially in regards to some of the natural disasters that have been going on lately, and some things that hit near and dear to my heart. I've even taken suggestions on some months from some of the people that watch the podcast or listen to it, and have been spotlighting those charities as well. But this month, the charity that we have been spotlighting for all of October is the Nazarene Fund. So the Nazarene Fund, their mission is to rescue, restore, and rebuild persecuted Christians and religious minorities who have become refugees or internally displaced by the genocide in the Middle East. If you're watching the YouTube version later that I edit, you'll see a symbol, the Nazarene symbol, which I actually plan on getting as my first tattoo with some of my own design features into it. But that symbol is used by ISIS to symbolize death to Christians. Kind of like the Star of David and everything during the Holocaust. So the Christians have actually taken this in the Middle East and turned it around as a symbol of life for them. So I would encourage you to head over and find out what you can do, whether it's if there's any volunteer opportunities or certainly to donate to this cause. You can find out more by heading over to www.thenazarenefund.org. Anything else that you want to get into before we get into the main topics?
Let's get into it.
All right. Yeah. So let's start off with one of our favorite states, California.
All right.
So Californians will soon be able to liquefy loved ones' bodies after a controversial bill is passed.
The land of controversial bills.
Yeah, seriously. Governor Jerry Brown signed a bill legalizing water cremations in California. I believe this was actually 2 Sundays ago. During the cremation process, a body is put into a vat with an alkaline solution. The process accelerates the body's natural breakdown and leaves only bones. The bones are then crushed into ash and returned to the family of the person who died, right? The process involves submerging the body in a solution of water and potassium hydroxide, which is then pressurized and heated for 2.5 to 3 hours. Right? This leaves a green-brown tinted liquid solution containing amino acids, peptides, sugars, and salts, and soft, porous white bone remains, which are easily crushed into ash. It also eliminates concerns about crematorium emissions, including carbon dioxide, which can be released into the air as part of the process. California will actually join 14 other states, including Idaho, Colorado, and Florida, in legalizing liquid cremation. So they're not the only one at this. Now, why do you think that they would actually do this?
I don't know, man. I don't know what kind of reasoning
You're with me.
for
you
California
just want to get
has.
jackhammers and go onto the San Andreas Fault and push it off into the ocean.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting to see what the goal here is. Like, why do they want to do this?
Put a little thought process into it. Common sense.
For the environment?
Yes, it is environmentally more safe to do this process than cremation or burying and everything else. Yep, absolutely. So the cremation.
Yet no one will do your idea of taking all the trash and putting it into a volcano.
I don't know why they don't listen to me. I have these great ideas.
Yep.
So the cremation industry itself has already been undergoing rapid change in recent years. Yeah, because the cremation industry, what an up and coming industry. It's always changing.
Yeah.
It's on fire.
Yeah.
So according to CANA statistics, the cremation rate in the United States jumped from 26.2% in 2000 to 48.6% in 2015. Interestingly enough, I actually had a conversation with my pastor about cremation versus being buried and everything. I was like, I am not comfortable with it, but I'd rather be cremated because I don't like the idea of someone going to my gravesite to remember me.
Yeah.
Like, you're standing over my body and it's there, you know? Just like dump my ashes in a volcano.
In the volcano, yeah. Yeah, Tracy and I have talked about this, and she would want to be cremated, but I mean, everyone in my family's always been buried, so I don't know. I have this like
the fire.
That is rough to.
Now you have to worry about being watered.
That's probably the best out of all of them when you think about, like, if you think about, like, okay, you're gonna wake up. Somehow magically you're not dead. Do you want to be in an oven? Do you want to be in a box?
They heat it up to like
you're
for
right,
3
it's
hours. It's horrible. As if dying wasn't bad enough.
I know.
Then they gotta just liquefy you, burn you, or let you rot.
I told Tracy, I was like, listen, it doesn't matter, you're getting buried regardless, because if you die first,
you're getting buried with you.
Like,
you just sitting there. Come on, come back out there. What's going on? So, yeah, it's they made it very clear in this article that we posted about that this was all in regards to the environment and saving the environment.
Whatever's eco-friendly way to dispose of your body.
Oh my word! So, of course, one of my favorite subjects: the first ever cruise ship for millennials is set to sail in 2018, and a bemoan goes about that it hasn't been pushed up sooner.
Right.
Because they are owed it.
Yeah, right.
They're entitled to it to be launched this year.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Why hasn't it happened yet?
So aiming to attract the 21 to 45-year-old set. 45? No.
That's crazy. No, that's not millennials.
That's like taking 10 steps into Generation X.
Yeah.
That's not generation, or millennials at least. With the first ever river cruise brand for millennials, You by Uniworld has finally released images of the two trendy ships. You by Uniworld's sleek liners, simply named A and B. So let's get this right. The cruise line itself, the branded for millennials, is called You.
Yeah.
And you can either take ship A or B.
The maiden voyage of A.
I'm just taking a wild guess here. They want to dumb things down for millennials as much as possible. I'm going on the UA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And each with an intimate capacity of only 120 passengers are certainly nothing like your grandmother's cruise ships. The ship's slick black exteriors and rooftop social venues give way to stylish Dorothy Draper-inspired interiors and contemporary Damien Hirst artwork. I'm a millennial. I don't really care about that crap.
No, me either. All I know is that this isn't your grandma's cruise ship, but grandma's going to be paying for it. Or mommy or daddy.
Yeah. And then there's going to be some grandpas on the ship too, probably. Yeah. So sofas, hammocks, oversized dining tables, and DJ booths establish an atmosphere of communal chilling. Yeah. Is the words that they use.
Communal chilling.
That has... I'm sorry, but it does. It has socialism written all over. Communal is all about the community all getting together, and we're just gonna chill, dude. We're gonna share crap,
awesome,
you know. Further catering to millennial demands for sustainable travel, rooms will be stocked with complimentary Be Kind amenities, and ship staffers will utilize WhatsApp and email for communications with passengers, saying goodbye to traditional paper itineraries of cruises past. Enhancing the onboard experience with the most innovative technology on the market, You by Uniworld is also extending unlimited Wi-Fi and allowing guests to connect with each other with an exclusive You app. You know what that sounds like, right?
Well, I mean, it sounds like everyone will be doing their communal chilling, but just like looking at their phones.
And where do we see that? Think of a movie.
Idiocracy?
No. Think of like a cruiser ship where everyone's connected to each other, but through the electronic media.
Wall-E.
Yes. Yeah. So if we could just
Ride
extend this cruise,
hover car things, chairs.
If we could just extend the cruise from 11 days to like 150
Infinity.
years. Just be a bunch of fat tubs on the floating things in stylish, trendy atmosphere.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh boy! So here's some of the activities you can look forward to, Mike.
Okay.
Painting seminars, which is actually a big thing still.
Sure.
This whole wine and paint thing, those people make money that organize those things. Mixology courses, chef-led cooking classes, silent discos. Do you know what that is?
No. Sounds stupid. Sounds really stupid.
When you
Inaudible music sessions.
No, it's worse. I can't believe you don't know this. This makes it so much better.
I don't know, but something's telling me that I'm going to be glad I don't know what it is.
I don't know. It might be your
My life's going to get worse.
Might be your next party.
My life's going to get worse finding out what it is.
With it. So it is. Hold on a second here. Come on, what is going on? It is
Non-visual TVs?
Yeah.
Assume?
Yeah. We'll just leave it off for now. It is when they hand out MP3 players to everyone.
Oh.
You put in the earbuds and everybody dances and to the music that's playing in their ears.
Is it a live stream so everyone's listening to the same stuff at least?
Yes.
Oh God.
I need to show you. I'm going to put it into the YouTube version.
Or the video. The
People
wildlife.
with no rhythm dancing to no rhythm and watching these people.
That's hilarious.
And the funniest part is, like, me moving around there, you hear my clothes going. That is literally all you hear. It's their people's clothes moving around and everything.
Oh my God.
Holy moly. Do you watch Shark Tank at all?
Yeah.
So the new season started, and I haven't had a chance to really. That's why it's disconnected. I haven't really had a chance to sit down and actually watch a lot of the stuff. And so, where is it? We finally got a chance to sit down and watch it, and we were watching the new season. And in the new season, there's this woman who has a yoga, a meditating app. Okay. And she valuated, gave a valuation of like $6 million or something like that, maybe even 12, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, the app itself is free to download, okay? And then users can pay for specific meditations, like I'm having a stressful day at work or something like that. And she goes over very specific things. You don't have to buy into them. She's making some money on those. But she valuated it so high and ridiculous that the sharks were like, no way, we value added this. And she refused to go in with them. And I think Cuban was absolutely right. He said she wanted the spotlight of being on the Shark Tank as a marketing ploy to reach out to people, and she had no intention of using a shark. You know what I mean? It's a big marketing thing. Now a bunch of eyes have seen her, and she doesn't need the sharks because more people will be buying them. I hate those type of people. It's ridiculous. Okay, so have you caught any of Leah Remini's show about the Scientology?
I've seen a little bit of it. I know that she goes after them pretty hard, like exposing everything, and they're not too happy with her.
To say the least.
Xenu is not happy. My thetan levels are going crazy.
So the Church of Scientology.
You've seen the South Park episode, right?
No, I don't watch South Park. I haven't watched it for years.
There's a South Park episode about Scientology where the guy, they're about like looking into the Church of Scientology, and they go through the whole like the aliens coming down and everything, and they animate the whole thing. Xenu, they arrive in spaceships that look like Boeing 747s, blah, blah, and they do the whole thing, and at the bottom just says, "This is what Scientologists actually believe." The whole time,
bet.
and
Yeah,
you got it. Yeah, it's so funny. It's one of the
So
best
Leah
things ever.
Remini, obviously, she was on King of Queens, right?
Yeah,
She
yeah.
was Kevin's. What's his name?
Oh,
I want to say,
Kevin. Is it Kevin?
yeah, Kevin James.
Kevin James. Yeah.
Kevin James's wife on there, and
Now
she
there's controversy because she's on his new show,
Yeah.
and apparently they like mysteriously killed off his wife with like almost zero explanation in the new season. So fans are like, "What? You just want to bring this one back? We liked her, you know, like whatever."
they have chemistry, though.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. It's all. About
I haven't watched any of them really.
So anyway, if you don't know, Leah Remini actually grew up in the Church of Scientology, and was considered like as high a ranking member as she could be,
Without
I guess,
being Tom Cruise.
Yeah, exactly. And so she eventually, I forget. I watched like the first episode or 2 episodes or something of her show, but yeah, she started talking about the abuse of the church or of the whatever it is. I don't know if it's a church or not, but started to talk about to interview people that had left that lifestyle, and they were under threats and be smeared in public and everything, and their reputation and everything. And it was just crazy, and I watched some of it and I thought, oh my gosh. But yeah, this Church of Scientology has been coming after Leah Remini hard.
Yeah.
And it's only helping her.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, every time they do something, it's like, yeah, you see what I'm talking about here, basically? So the Church of Scientology is bolstering its attack against the A&E program Leah Remini, Scientology, and the Aftermath, and has sent emails to advertisers urging they ban the show. The group, Scientologists Against Discrimination, which... Stand. It's is the acronym, even though I don't see a T in there.
No, they're just using the T from tologists. Scientologists Against Discrimination reportedly sent different versions of a letter to companies that advertise on the program, claiming the show promotes hatred, religious bigotry, and slander against a religion that helps communities all over the world, according to the Wall Street Journal. What are you laughing at? There's no N either. Scientology.
Again. What the hell? How did I not catch that? Oh, man. I'm glad I have you.
However, you can make an acronym
I'm
work.
running on empty fuel right now, so I need you here. Remini, a vocal opponent of the Church of Scientology, was a member of the religion for about 30 years. So I didn't know the exact number, but yeah, 30 years before leaving in 2013. The Wall Street Journal reported a few advertisers have withdrawn from the program due to the public controversy surrounding the show, but not necessarily because of the letters. This is the same type of campaign that was done by the Bonner Group and Media Matters against Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
They actually went after. You see, it's so cloak and dagger with all this stuff. They went after his European advertisers, so you couldn't track what was going on here in America because you were seeing the same advertisements, but they see different advertisements over there, and it's big over there, right? So I was cutting millions off of Fox, and that's why they got rid of them. And, and not only that, but Roger Ailes' kids are who's the other one? There's Roger Ailes, and then he was another high up. Who owns it? Roger Ailes ran it.
Oh, for Fox? I don't know. I don't know. Roger Ailes was the top guy that I
talk about a sexual predator, my word. So, pull that out there. The Wall Street Journal reported a few advertisers have withdrawn from the program due to the public controversy surrounding the show, but not necessarily because of the letters. Geico was one of the companies to pull its advertising from the series, but not from the network. A&E defended the show and noted its recent Emmy win. We are enormously proud of the quality and importance of the series, which was affirmed by the show's recent Emmy win, and we intend to continue to share these brave stories with viewers, said an A&E spokesperson to the Wall Street Journal. And yeah, that's not an overstatement. They interview people that have been destroyed by this Church of Scientology. So it's very interesting. If you ever get the chance to tune into a show or binge watch it or something like that, which I don't know about binge watching a show like that. You might wake up thinking there's a UFO over here. Some crazy crap going on.
No, aliens travel in spaceships that look like Boeing 747.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, just the fact that L. Ron Hubbard was a science fiction author.
Yes.
And then he like creates...
What was a John Travolta movie? Who is also a Scientologist?
Battlefield Earth.
Battleship Earth?
No, Battlefield Earth. I'm pretty sure. And that's apparently it's like one of the worst movies ever.
I watched it.
It was awful.
I watched it when it came out because I thought...
Is that based on an L. Ron Hubbard book?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say it was a movie? It was a documentary.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy. Yeah, no, it's it's actually based on this, and it's supposedly, I believe, and don't quote me on this.
Yeah.
I sometimes I'm wrong. It's rare.
Yeah,
it's supposedly based on their like stuff.
The Scientology backstory.
Yeah.
Is Xenu the main guy?
I don't know. He's got what's the Star Trek guy's Worf? What kind of thing was he?
Oh, a Klingon.
The Klingon.
Head?
It's kind of like Klingon looking guys. I should have known that. I'm sorry, Ben, and others who are Matt, all these Star Trek fans who I'm a fan of the new movies, not the old stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Actually, I heard that the new TV show is really good. Discovery.
I haven't watched it since before it aired. The entire cast took a knee on Instagram, and I was like, whatever, I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah. Thanks. Now I gotta blur that out.
Yeah.
Oh my word! I gotta blur it out on the radio too. So this is one of my. Okay. I want to say this is one of my favorite stories, but it involves the death of someone.
Oh.
So I understand how sensitive.
Spoiler
this is
warning.
I need to flash spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So a famous anti-meat vegan climbed Mount Everest, and to prove that vegans can do what those of us who eat meat can do, anything you can do, I can do better, and died.
Oh.
Is that how the song goes? Anything you can do, I can do.
Jeez.
I'm frozen.
Yeah.
So an Australian woman who set out to climb Mount Everest to prove that vegans can do anything, in quotation marks, by the way, died last Saturday after developing altitude sickness. Maria Stridham, who was 34, so my age, you're old, had reached the final camp.
Experienced.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Like aged, like a fine wine.
Exactly.
Had to reach a final camp from the summit before she and her husband both began suffering from high altitude pulmonary edema, which caused fluid to build up in Stridham's brain. And I know what this is because I saw the movie.
So you're educated.
What was the one with Bill Paxton and the guy who plays Stick in Daredevil?
In Daredevil? Is it a mountain climbing movie? Vertical Limit?
Limit.
Was that it?
Great movie, by the way.
Yep.
That was a great movie. That's what the one actress in that was developing while they were like trapped in the avalanche or whatever. His sister.
Okay.
And who was Chris Robin, right? Not Christopher Robin.
Winnie the
No,
Pooh.
who played Robin in the Batman movies?
Oh, Chris O'Donnell.
Chris O'Donnell.
Yep.
Yeah, he was in it too. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not going to climb and figure this stuff out. I got to watch a movie to figure it out. For crying
it's
out
a
loud.
documentary.
I mean, it was a documentary about this chick who got this stuff.
She was a vegan in the movie too.
Yeah, that's how she got stuck.
It's the only way you get that sickness.
Oh boy! So Stridham had sought out to prove that she could scale the mountain while on a vegan diet. It seems, this is in quotes, it seems that people have this warped idea that vegans being malnourished and weak. By climbing the 7 summits, we want to prove that vegans can do anything and more. And more being the clause of death. So,
it's the and
so
more. It's the and more that is
It's like Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah.
The Beyond stuff is, I learned from the documentary Click.
Yeah. It's a secret room with magic remotes. But seriously though, it's the and more that is just puts their like pompousness on display.
Oh, I know.
I get it, and this could be totally coincidental. I'm sure that non-vegans have gotten this illness, maybe not died, but gotten this illness while climbing mountains.
Absolutely.
But if you want to prove that a vegan diet. You can do all the same stuff and everything. But what more? What more can you do? What more can we do? Like, what more? What are you talking about? You know, why are you being an ass?
Well, I would ask her.
But you can't.
I can't.
Yeah.
She's probably being liquefied in California at this point.
You gotta make sure that the mountains that killed her are preserved.
Yeah, you know what they do? They're going to liquefy her and then shoot her through a snowblower up onto the mountain. That was mean. That was a little
You feel
low.
bad now.
That was a little low.
I feel bad too. I mean, I want to be like, but regardless of diets and stuff, my condolences to the
absolutely.
family.
I feel bad that she died, but at the same time, like, don't be so cocky about it. Say, I hope to prove that vegans can do anything and more, whatever that may be.
And more,
that these dang meat eaters can do. And then she gets halfway up there and she does another report. I'm coming down. I'm coming down.
Is that what happened?
No. I'm doing a live stream. I'm live streaming. I need a sled, guys. I need to come down this dang thing.
I was wondering if she made it all the way and then came back and was sick, or if she got sick on the way up.
Well, the pulmonary thing that you can get, like in the movie, it was like a shot that you take, I think. So she was like trying to stick like frozen broccoli into asparagus. The asparagus wasn't working.
Oh man!
I heard she tried to do a Slim Jim type commercial where
slap into some celery,
snap into an asparagus.
Oh man!
I'm going to hell.
No.
All right. Speaking of hell, you know what could save you? Jesus. Just saying. Just saying. Jesus.
Oh man.
So I know that you're just as big of a Philadelphia Eagles fan as I am. 6-1, by the way.
I know they need all the help they can get. Keep baptizing.
Well, even the Patriots don't have their score right now. I'm looking at you, family of in-laws.
Yeah.
So Philadelphia Eagles Marcus Johnson got baptized in a hotel pool with teammates by his side. Now, this was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So Marcus Johnson, a wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles, said he was baptized in North Carolina when they were playing against the Panthers just before the game. It was either the night before, literally before the game, in a swimming pool with the support of several of his teammates. Johnson was baptized in Charlotte at the hotel where the team was staying, according to CBS Sports. The Eagles ended up beating the Carolina Panthers, obviously, with a score of 28-23. Alongside Johnson...
Skin of their teeth.
Excuse me. Alongside Johnson during his baptism was quarterback Carson Wentz, MVP of the season right now, obviously. Tight end Zach Ertz.
Classic Eagles fans. 1/3 of the season through. Oh,
Super Bowl.
Here we go.
Super Bowl!
Yeah.
So Zach Ertz.
These are the people that seem to forget the 5 straight NFC championship losses or whatever the heck it was.
Calm down.
All those magical seasons that just puttered off into nothing.
I know. Trust me. Hey, listen. You act like we're not aware that we're disappointed every year, but we got that pep.
Okay.
We got the pep. So, okay, there's the offensive guard Steven Wisniewski, tight end
tough one there,
Trey
wasn't
Burton, Jordan
Husky,
and backup quarterback Nick Foles. I didn't know he was still on the team. That sucks.
Kept the job.
That is some.
It's a lot more than Kaepernick can claim.
Chase Daniel, now a quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, told ESPN in December of last year when he was a backup quarterback for the Eagles that his team was, quote, by far the most spiritual team that he's been on. 5 teammates, including linebackers Jordan Hicks, Kendricks, Hill, wide receivers Turner, Watford, were all baptized in the Philadelphia Eagles recovery pool late last year, according to reports as well. Now, one thing I didn't write down in here is that apparently Wentz is like outspokenly Christian. He talks
Tim
about
Tebow 2.0.
Yeah, but you know what? When you're winning, it's a different story. When you're making those plays.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you what. Did you watch the game Monday?
I didn't.
Why?
Because It was the Eagles.
It was pretty good.
I heard.
Yeah,
I heard
it didn't
worked.
start off good. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It was penalty after penalty. Just on the opening drive for the Eagles, there were so many penalties. They ended up 1st and 33, which I don't think I've seen.
1st and 33
in their own end zone.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not going anywhere. And then, of course, the last time we played the Redskins, it was them. The Redskins fans were all in a tizzy over a bad call, which wouldn't have made that much of a difference in the end anyway. So I'm like, there comes another game. We're going to lose this one, and then they're going to have ammo for going back to talking about the bad call on the last one. But we pulled it out, man. It was a great game. There was a pile up on Wentz.
Yeah.
You just see him disappear under a pile of guys, and then all of a sudden he shoots out the other side and just goes with it. I'm like, get the heck out of here. Everybody was just going nuts. It was great.
Yep.
So, you don't have too much to say about it.
I'll be
All
honest.
I want to say.
I'll be honest. Football in general, I really the whole anthem thing just kind of turned me off.
Oh, I know.
I haven't watched as much. I'm not as into my fantasy team. I'm just like,
Oh, I'm into my fantasy.
it's just
team.
this whatever.
Of course, my fantasy QB was Aaron Rodgers. So
Nosedive for the season. Yeah,
my
I'll tell you
backup
what,
is Wilson though, and I've been doing well.
I had the Steelers defense. By far way better defense than anything that was on the waiver wire.
Yeah.
After that week with the anthems when they didn't come out, I dropped them the next day and picked up the Oakland Raiders. I'm like, whatever.
They're good defensively.
Yeah, it's not bad, not bad, but I've seen the score sheet. Somebody else picked them up and they're doing a lot better than the Raiders, but I don't care. Yeah, they're not good enough to be on my team.
But you know what? The reason, number one, I'm an Eagles fan.
Really?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah, okay. To the road, to that place that we've never been before. This road that we don't know where it is, so we're flying
you're a
around trying to
Cowboys fan,
find it. Yeah. I've had a pretty awful past 2 decades. I'll beat you to the punch.
But here's the thing. The second reason why I put this in here is because this is a contrasting story with the controversy crap.
For sure.
You hear so much about if you bring up the NFL, that's all people are talking about. This is what people should be talking about.
Yep.
So good for them.
Yep.
Follow Jesus. That's all I gotta say.
There you go.
On the road to victory.
Yeah, but it's like
Yeah.
when it was Tebow though taking a knee for Jesus. I mean, it was a big problem with that. Yeah, people hated that. It was like,
did they really though?
No.
It was complaining. It was whining.
It was whining.
It was more snide remarks.
Yeah.
Just making fun of them and everything. God forbid you say something bad about a guy kneeling during the national anthem about how stupid that is.
Did you see there's a Tim Tebow commercial? I think it was Geico. It was pretty funny. He's getting ready to go to a Halloween costume and he's calling out his old player buddies and stuff, and he's dressed as like Luke Skywalker. It was a Star Wars, and he thought they had a whole Star Wars theme, right?
Yeah.
So the first guy comes out and he's like Tim Tebow in his high school uniform. He's like, yeah, I'm Tim Tebow. And then the next guy comes out in a Gators uniform, and the next guy comes out in a whatever team. And then the Broncos, and then the last one comes out in a baseball uniform, and he's like, oh man, are you trying to be Tim Tebow, dude? He goes, no, I'm a baseball player. That was pretty funny.
Was that recently?
Yeah, it was recently. Yep.
That's pretty funny.
No, I'm a baseball player.
All right, so let's see here. Moving on. So obviously, over the last couple of weeks, this Mandalay Bay concert shooting has been huge, and it just got so weird with the news that kept on coming out after it. I mean, 2 weeks after this thing happened, that we're getting 3 conflicting timelines on when things were happening. The guards saying one thing, then the hotel saying another. We have yet to see any actual casino footage, which, come on.
Yeah, I know, right?
There's got to be...
has more cameras.
There's got to be 60 freaking cameras focused on every damn carpet thread in that place. And we're not seeing anything? There's a lot of really stupid conspiracy theories out there.
Sure.
Right? But you are feeding them when you are not releasing this kind of stuff, right? And then on top of that, everybody gets there's a press corps that comes together for this security guard because he's the hero of the situation, right? Seconds before he's supposed to meet with them, he disappears.
Yep.
You know about this, right?
Yeah, I've heard, like, apparently, like, all these media organizations were like, we're getting ready to interview him, and then he wasn't allowed to interview with anybody except for Ellen, who apparently the company that owns the casino is the same company that runs her show. Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about that.
I heard something to that effect. Like, it's all owned by the same conglomerate or something, so that's kind of like...
Well, no, what happened was he was there at the hotel ready for a big press conference and then just disappeared. And no one could find him. There were reporters hanging out outside the house. He disappeared, right? And one of the floating theories that's out there, again, because, conspiracy theories are going to, circulate in areas of voids and stuff, which this is just voids all over the place. This is Swiss cheese to the story.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And, one of the floating theories is this guy is an illegal alien, right? And that, number one, he is not registered to be a security guard in the state of Nevada.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay, you have that going. All security guards at casinos are supposed to be registered, right? He's not. So what was he doing there?
Yeah.
Number two, he skips town, right? And then disappears. And they're, come on, And then he shows up on a show where he's not going to get hardball questions on what happened that night. He's basically allowed to, and I agree with this, go through his story on what happened. Yeah. Right? It's interesting. Very interesting.
Then they dance a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. They go around about what a hero he is. They give him a big check to go towards like a charity of some sort or something. And you can tell that Ellen's questions are formed based off of what she was told to ask when she went out there, right? No hard questions, no questions about the timeline of when things happened, no questions about his being registered as a security guard or anything, no questions about why it took so long for cops to get to him where he was and everything.
Yep.
Like there's no details coming out from
Are you a citizen?
anywhere. How is it that we're seeing leaked photographs of inside the room, which there's questionable things in that room as well, right? But we're not seeing anything about the hallway, the casino. We're not seeing videos of him walking around or anything.
Yeah.
It's so screwed up. It's unbelievable. I don't get it.
Yeah, this whole thing, it's just a mess. And now like I said, it seems like it's being controlled more too. They're like trying to control the narrative of what's getting out,
Yeah.
And I could have swore I saw that
That's interesting.
the company that runs the casino is also involved in her show and everything. That's how she scored the big.
Scientology aliens got him. JJ said.
Yeah.
And my wife wanted to chime in with "Go Pats." Yep, they're not. I think they're like 4th or 5th in the league right now. Just saying, Eagles are number 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Just throwing that out there.
I do still think that everyone else is just fighting over the privilege of getting demolished by the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
You know what could happen?
What's that?
Whatever your Pennsylvanian dreams of. Steelers and the Eagles.
Oh,
that would be pretty cool. That would be cool to see, though. You got to admit.
Yeah, that'd be all right, I guess.
Even when I move to Texas, I'm not going to be a Cowboys fan. So, all right, we didn't even get to the details of this. So, Jesus,
Jerry Jones won you over a little bit when he said that anyone who kneels will be benched.
That he what?
You heard the whole controversy that came out when Jerry Jones came out and said that anyone on the Cowboys who kneels will be benched.
What about
it? That's awesome.
Yeah, but there's also a meme that was floating around that said that he would fire people that kneeled. Or
no,
whatever.
that was fake news.
That was fake.
Yes. But afterwards, it did come out that he said in a press conference that anyone who kneels.
So yeah, so he gave them an out and allowed them to kneel before the national anthem.
More of Texas being awesome. Just say.
Jerry Jones isn't awesome. Texas is awesome. I agree with that. So anyway, Jesus Campos, the Mandalay Bay security guard who first alerted police to the Vegas gunman, appeared on Ellen for his first and only interview Wednesday. So that's another thing we didn't even talk about. So after all this, he skips town, leaves all this press conference stuff, shows up on Ellen where he's only going to get softball questions, and he's refusing to do any more interviews.
Yeah.
He's not registered as a security guard, and he skips town, and he goes onto a show that's liberally friendly in all the right ways for him.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is look up his social security.
Yeah.
So Campos recalled the night of the shooting and spoke about how he is coping. Again, I got to cut back here for a second. I have like this ADD tonight. I just got to keep on going back. So, alerted to police. Okay. So he okay. This is another thing too. Ellen is actually the perfect platform for a guy like this to go on if he is an illegal alien. If those details come out, he has no better spokesman or spokesperson. I can't assume on this one. Spokespersons.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Spokesy.
Spokesino. Spokeser. Caesar's on.
Yeah, Caesar's on. Yeah, that was actually a Scientology person.
Xenu.
Yeah.
Spoke Xenu.
Yeah. So then Ellen, who's going to fight for, how, and what cover too. Give me a break. I mean, everything about this reeks to high hell.
Yeah.
Because what happens then, this guy's illegal, but he's a hero. Well, we can't throw out a hero.
Yeah.
So he's staying.
They're probably all heroes.
Yeah. Trump says that they're all rapists, but they're all heroes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
One of them being a rapist doesn't make them all racist.
Yeah.
But one of them being a hero makes them all heroes.
All right, so we'll get back to here. Campos recalled the night of the shooting and spoke about how he's coping. Ellen did not press him on the official timeline of the shooting, which has changed 3 times since the massacre. MGM, which owns the Mandalay, has disputed the official timeline, which insinuated they may have waited 6 minutes to call the cops. Here's another thing I heard. According to a security expert that I listened to, Jesus Campos was by the book in how he went about things. Okay, so this guy really did do things right. Okay, I honestly don't care if he's an illegal alien or not, but I think that if that is what's holding up all this information from coming out because they're afraid that, what the repercussions will be for him, or they're withholding things because the casino did some things wrong, that's screwing up the whole investigation.
Yeah.
That's what's leading to all these holes. If he's an illegal alien, let him stay. Who cares? I honestly don't care if he stays. You're right. He is kind of a hero in his situation and what he did and everything. But at the same time, if that's holding up this investigation and putting holes in everything, just get it out there, forget about it, let's move on. Let's get all the details out there. So, he went by the book. They're thinking that maybe MGM did not go by the book. I think the one thing that you're supposed to do is, in an emergency situation like this, an active shooter, you're supposed to call it in on your walkie-talkie, then turn off your walkie-talkie, call into the main people in that security booth with your cell phone and work off of your cell phone instead, so that he can't tap into the lines of communication through the walkie-talkies and hear what their plans are to do. So it's pretty interesting stuff. Police later changed the timeline again, saying that Campos immediately called in the shooting as soon as he was injured. At the end of the interview, Ellen presented Campos and his co-worker, who was also shot at, with a $25,000 check for the Las Vegas Victims Fund. So that's cool. For as many stupid things that Ellen does that I disagree with, I feel like they're far outweighed by some of the awesome stuff that she does.
She does do a lot of awesome stuff. I think
she's become so bitter lately.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, like I feel like she's done a lot of good, but it's just the way that the liberal media is going. Everything is biased and just
okay, so he resurfaced again on Tuesday when Ellen announced he was coming on her show, but his choice to do the interview on Ellen was likely deliberate. The comedian turned talk show host is more known for her dancing and pranks on celebrities and hard-hitting interviews with headline makers. This is what the Daily Mail said. Ellen said she invited him on her show because she wanted to celebrate Campos's heroism. She said, it's helpful for people to understand what a hero you are because you being shot in the leg saved so many people's lives. Instead of you getting out there, you saved Stephen's life and that woman's life. At the end of the interview, Ellen said that both Campos and Schuck had turned down her offers of money, so instead a sponsor of the show, Shutterfly, was donating $25,000 to the Victims Fund on their behalf. And when she presented the two with a large check, Campos began to tear up. So it's interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Like, first of all, the guy is a hero. I mean, he ran into fire, basically, right? I'll just leave it at that. He was. You know?
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. So one of the other big stories that's been going around for the last couple of weeks that we've talked about multiple times, too, is all these freaking hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
All this, like, havoc that they've been wreaking.
Yep.
And
now we know we could have prevented all of them if we would just be liquefying bodies just starting 20 years ago.
well, I don't know if you know this, but these Klingon-looking Travoltas could have been engineering with the U.S. government on shifting around these hurricanes, too.
Yeah.
It is obviously Trump's fault.
Yeah, obviously.
So much more into that, too. So in light of the outcry from one particularly vocal Democratic mayor in Puerto Rico about relief efforts after Hurricane Maria, I forget her name.
Who cares? Nasty woman.
Yeah,
nasty mayor.
Woman, yeah. A video is quickly making its way across the internet, purportedly showing what happened to many of the supplies sent to help the locals who were devastated by the storm. So if you remember, was it you that was on?
I was on one that was talked about it, but then other people were on it too.
We had a good one with Goody with the paper towel throwing.
Yeah. Hey.
3-pointer. So let's take a look quickly at that video.
Municipio de Patilla, nos trepamos aquí, estas cajas tiradas, es la comida de la gente que hay que estar repartiendo en Puerto Rico. Estamos viendo paletas completas de comida, están llenas. Vamos a hacer un inventario entonces de esto.
All right, so what did he say?
So he said it was the food of the people, complete pallets in their inventory, but I kind of missed.
Did you catch some of that?
That's some of the stuff he said. Yeah.
Is Portuguese kind of like based on some Spanish?
It's similar. Portuguese is more of a. It's actually really close to Italian as well.
Yeah.
It's a romantic language, but it's very similar. Like in Spanish, say buenos dias, and Portuguese say bon dia. You know, so. But there are different words too. So even when we were working at the store together, like if I had a Spanish speaking customer, I could understand them if they went slowly. If they started going too fast, they started to lose
louder.
me. Yeah, louder. Yeah.
What?
Speak up.
Which may have led to that woman calling me El Diablo.
Yeah. Nice. So.
Okay, so what you're seeing there essentially, though, is the fact that, first of all, nasty woman. She was on the first news report that went out with her. She was literally standing in front of pallets upon pallets of supplies behind her in a warehouse, screaming about how the Trump administration isn't helping her out and they need help. They need supplies. And I said, turn around, woman.
Yeah.
Like, look behind you. What the heck are you talking about? You know? And then there was a follow-up interview after that with Anderson Cooper with her wearing a shirt saying, help us, we're dying down here, which she obviously had made during this whole crisis of Puerto Rico losing power and everything. Like, this woman's so insane. And so she's talking about how supplies aren't making it down there. In the meantime, the Puerto Rican people don't really understand really what's going on because they don't have access to media or anything else. You know, at that time, I don't know what things are starting to progress from what I understand, but it's still rough. It's really rough down there. But so they're not really in tune with what's going on and the supplies that are there. And in the meantime, all these supplies in palletfuls are stacking up at airports and ports and everything like that because there's no one, all the truck drivers that are Puerto Ricans, right? Don't know that the supplies are there. No one's able to contact them to drive the truck to go pick up the supplies. So they're not making it out into the communities in Puerto Rico. So all these supplies just keep on building up, and there's plenty there that keeps on coming in too. But they're just no one's there to do anything with them because there's a lack of communication. I mean, they were brought back into the dark age essentially of technology. There's no technology. You know, and so all this stuff is just piling up. But then you have this Puerto Rican mayor, this woman, who's saying that they're not even sending the supplies, that they're not helping. And here, this guy shot a video that not only are the supplies there, but they're being thrown away into the trash, literally into the trash, into dumpsters.
Oh, God.
Now, I haven't had the opportunity. Believe it or not, I've been a little busy. besides the podcast.
Yeah.
I haven't had the opportunity to look into the claims that my friend Goody made that was on here, because apparently Geraldo Rivera or whatever was down there with his crew, and he was covering something while his crew went out and followed a supply truck, and that supply truck went to that woman's house and dropped off the supplies there. Did you hear about this?
No.
That apparently she's like hoarding the supplies herself or something.
The mayor?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So not only is she hoarding the supplies, but she's lying about it, and they're being thrown away into dumpsters too. Like she should be wearing a shirt that says "I'm killing my people."
Yeah.
Go get
sure.
that made.
I mean, talk about like just committing awful acts just to push a narrative,
Yep.
you know,
agenda against Trump.
Yeah, that's insane.
I think personally, and I say this every time we talk about Trump, I'm not a fan of Trump.
Yep.
Personally, right? But I don't know what more he could have done in Hurricane Harvey, Irma, and I guess Irma's the same one that hit
Maria.
No, Maria. It was Maria. I don't know what more he could have done.
Yeah.
I think they had a fantastic response to those situations, but the media take off in left and right situations and go down these pathways of trying to, well, he didn't do this or he didn't do that. Like, step into the boots of the president.
I mean,
and
when you
do
consider
something yourself.
getting hit almost simultaneously with 3 massive hurricanes.
Not only that,
Plus all North Korea, plus everything else that's going on, and I mean, I swear he could cure cancer, and there would still be Rachel Maddow would be complaining about something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no, and I've said this
it's
too.
more than that. Let me just throw down the gauntlet on this one.
Yeah.
Pile on to what you're saying. Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, California wildfires,
Yep.
the Mandalay Bay shooting,
Yep.
North Korea,
Hurricane Maria, you missed that.
Hurricane Maria, right?
Yep.
He's dealing with all these things literally within 2 weeks.
Yep.
All those within 2 weeks, right? And then you have people complaining that Puerto Rico isn't getting the same response that Texas is getting. Like, we can drive semi-trucks across full of supplies right over onto the Puerto Rican island, right? That's not the way it works.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't say that we need an equal response when the process of getting those supplies there is not an equal measure.
Yeah.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? It's so ridiculous.
That's what common sense would say.
Oh,
But
take that common sense.
yeah.
Throw it with those paper towels out to the crowd.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I say this every time we talk about Trump. I was not a huge Trump fan either, but the more hate he gets and the more I like him.
Yeah.
The more I want him to do well, just to shove it in these people's faces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's crazy.
And the other thing I say all the time too is, man, I'll tell you what, they keep on doing this path, both of them. Trump saying what he's saying, and the left doing what they're doing, and he runs again in 2020 and wins. The shock they're going to be in that they threw everything at the wall. You know,
and none of it worked.
Nothing worked.
Like, listen, the only thing I could imagine being better than the media's response to him winning the first time is him winning again.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, I want to see those meltdown videos more than anything in the world.
Do you know who might run against him in 2020?
Who?
As a Republican?
As a Republican? No. Who?
Another reality show person. Mark Cuban.
Oh.
He's not a Republican.
Yeah, I know.
He, as a businessman, I don't understand how I just had this conversation last night with Brent, who's been on the podcast, how you can make so much money and realize the benefits of capitalism, you know, that you can use that money to then give to charity and everything else and be more in control of your own life and not have the government like squashing you as a business owner and everything. That you could turn out to be so liberal fiscally.
Yeah.
Right. I look. I'll argue all day long with a person on the left in regards to social issues. In the end, social issues are a matter of opinion.
Yeah,
right?
It comes down to your personal viewpoint.
Until it affects the policies and stuff. Then you get into the meat of discussions. But if you want to treat people a certain way, that's based on your opinion and everything. If you're going to choose the avenue of hate or love, and that's not. Neither of those are specific to a party, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I believe that both are fully capable of both spectrums on that, and for different reasons. But yeah, absolutely, it's just crazy.
Yeah, but when it comes to fiscal issues, being liberally fiscal is just wrong.
Well, that's an oxymoron.
There's no argument or justification or.
I just heard a
anything like
story
that.
today that there was a pizzeria that was started up in New York and was run on socialism policies. Within that little pizzeria, they made really good pizza apparently, and took out a grant so that they could pay their the pizzeria's staff salaries like an exorbitant amount or whatever.
So like the busboy got the same as the owner.
yeah. Guess how well they're doing?
Yeah, they've shut down.
They
Probably.
shut down.
Yeah.
Just
there was a video. Have you ever heard of the YouTube channel called Campus Reform?
yeah.
Yeah. So did you see the video they did of students love Trump's tax plan where they think it's Bernie's tax plan?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great. Oh what?
Well, they actually just came out with I effing love science released an article this past week too, where they said that conservatives are easily tricked into being liberals because of certain things. When you institute fear into it, no, I'm sorry. When you ask them to imagine themselves as Superman or Jesus or something like that, right? I think it's Superman. That if you imagine them to be, say to them, imagine yourself as Superman, and then start asking them social issue questions, that they start to be more liberal about things, right? And they're trying to make it, and then they go into this whole thing about how conservatism is based on fear-based things. Like, you're afraid that North Korea is going to attack, so you need your guns and everything, you know? And it's like, you couldn't be further from the truth. If you actually talk to truly conservative people and about policies and stuff, I say this all the time. I would love the opportunity, if you and I can find some spare time at some point in time, to go down to like an open mall area, like the one that's nearby us down in Center Valley, and just randomly pull people, ask them what their political affiliation is, and then ask them the same political questions. I guarantee you, conservatives know more than liberals.
Yeah.
Or at least based on surface level things.
Or at least I feel like a conservative would at least have the guts, I guess, if they don't know an answer, to say, hey, I don't know that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I feel like there are it's just, you see video after video after video of liberals like just claiming to know it, and they're completely wrong, and it's just like, just say you don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay. You know?
As a matter of fact, I respect people more when they say that they don't know something. Like, that's one thing you're always taught in sales, actually.
Yeah.
You know, we have worked in sales for how long? If you don't know something, you look them square in the eye and you say, I don't know the answer to that.
But I'll find
but there's people in my company that do. I'm going to find out that answer for you. I'll be right back to you.
Yeah.
And then you just don't ever get back to them. I'm just joking.
kind of.
That's a bad. That's. Yeah. I don't train people. Let's just put it that way. Oh boy. Okay. So we were talking about Puerto Rico. Another 2,800 emails, Hillary Clinton emails, were found on Anthony Weiner's laptop.
Anthony Weiner just won't go away.
Just keeps on popping up.
Just keeps popping up.
You can talk about him until you're purple in the face.
Oh, God.
I don't know what you're talking. Why are you laughing so hard?
I don't know.
I need a drink. And this isn't going to do it. All right. So the State Department has received another 2,800 Hillary Clinton emails found on the laptop of Anthony Weiner, the estranged husband of top Clinton aide Uma Abedin, who has been a confidant now of Harvey Weinstein's wife.
Yeah.
Two peas in a pod, man.
Oh, my God.
So the FBI turned over the documents after Judicial Watch sued the State Department for failing to respond to a Freedom of Information Act request. This is the only way things get turned over anymore, by the way, is like if citizens or groups go after the government to actually put forth information that they are hiding from the public.
Yep.
You know? By the way, is today's Thursday?
Today's Thursday, yeah. Today is Thursday.
Wasn't Trump supposed to release the JFK
files? Yeah.
Did he do that today?
The latest I heard was not yet.
Okay.
But he's been they're expecting everything to get released though, because he's been saying we're gonna release everything.
It's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be huge.
A great amount of information
on my watch. It's all happened on my watch.
Oh my gosh! By the way, did you watch the Bernie Sanders Ted Cruz debate?
I watched. Yeah, I watched it.
Fantastic.
Oh my god,
it was so good. I think a lot of people. I want to go off track. So
I love when you pointed out how he schooled him on Robin Hood.
Yeah, he did. That was so funny.
Actually, Bernie.
Yeah.
Robin Hood stole from the tax man.
Yeah. But
and gave it back to the working people.
Exactly. So in this illustration, you as the Democrats would be the tax collectors.
Sheriff of Nottingham.
Sheriff of Nottingham. Yeah.
That was awesome.
So anyway, listen. Hillary Clinton, more emails are coming out. Mm-hmm. It's an endless stream. Now she's also connected with Russia. Like, are we still talking about how, wasn't it, okay, you tagged me in a conversation.
Yes.
And this woman or girl or whatever, I don't assume, it might be a man. I don't.
Yeah, you never know.
Could be an Alpha Centaurian. Whatever. I don't know. I don't really care. She has the wits. I'm not going to go there. Listen, this girl.
I've been out of that conversation since that night. I want to go back. Once this is published on YouTube, I want to go back and, hey, you were mentioned at this time.
No. That's all I need is like a liberal, like attack dog on me or something. But I mean, my word.
Yeah.
This is this chick. Like, no matter what you said, this is all tied back to Trump and Russia.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, because let's be honest here, there hasn't been any concrete proof of a Russia collusion. Oh, yes, there has, because this isn't it. No, that's what was mentioned by the media with no substantiating evidence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes. Mm-hmm. The Trump son that looks like a Bond villain did go and meet with.
Did you? I heard about that. Yeah, but Jimmy Dore was also mentioning that whole thing could have been set up by the Clinton. Democrats to then tie it all together of how,
that's a liberal.
Yeah, he's a total liberal, and
total liberal.
I mean, loves Bernie, but the one thing I love about him is, we always talk about how, Obama supported no matter what he did. It was always great. He is the one guy that I've seen that, as much as we disagree on everything, but he calls out the BS on that side too. Yeah. And does it brutally. Mm-hmm. And I love it. It's good stuff.
So in regards to that conversation though, she kept on saying, I ended our debate by saying, listen, when the evidence is concrete and Trump gets
we'll reconvene.
We'll reconvene. Yeah. You can throw it in my face if that's what you want. Because I know that's not going to happen. I mean, let's be honest here. And then, of course, the excuse is going to be, well, Trump can get away with anything as president.
Yeah, whatever.
Listen, sit back in Obama's lap again.
Yeah.
So the Bernie Sanders, Ted Cruz debate, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, there's one thing I want to point out. Bernie has a habit of pointing out the benefits of socialism in Denmark and Sweden and places like that. And when there's a freaking Denmark guy in the audience, that gets up. And he's like, well, I'm from the CNN people are like, well, we actually have someone from Denmark. And it's almost like you could hear Bernie like, and so the guy stands up and he starts talking. And he starts basically throwing it in the face of Bernie Sanders and what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
But then when he went to sit back down, Bernie used him as a tool to go after Ted Cruz on the socialized healthcare system, because Ted Cruz was using statistics on the wait times and everything.
Yeah, and that guy kind of was not good for Cruz's argument, at least in the context of the show.
On the surface.
The wait times, yeah.
On the surface. But here's where people are misconstruing this, right? The average wait time is not based on an individual experience.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what that was. This guy had a stroke of luck.
Yep.
These statistics are not wrong, right?
Yep.
We're taking an average of what the wait time is, and that could be months sometimes. This guy's mother, who had cancer, or has cancer, got in within a couple days. Great. But guess what? There's people out there that are waiting months for a biopsy.
Yeah. For his mom getting in a couple of days, there's the other extreme, and then the average that Cruz is talking about is right in the middle. Yeah.
So Bernie's is full of it, and unfortunately he used a tactic, basically, knowingly, I feel, of playing the specific versus broad or general numbers game, right? So this is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I think that Bernie looked so confused throughout the entire debate.
He always does. Disheveled.
He's like,
Mr. Moderator. Mr. Moderator.
am I going to get a chance here? Yeah, because you just talked for 10 minutes straight. You didn't let him talk, for crying out loud. I must.
Now I didn't interrupt you,
okay.
Bernie. You're interrupting me, interrupting you, interrupting me, interrupting you.
I think the best thing that was said was actually by Steven Crowder, which is these debates, we need to keep on having these debates, not only to show the stark difference between the opinion of the left and the opinion of the right, but also to show this guy is not your happy-go-lucky socialist guy that's there for the people. He is a miserable old prick. Like, he is a nasty guy. He's a jerk.
Yeah.
You know? But then they yell at Ted Cruz for reading Dr. Seuss to his kids.
Yeah.
Apparently Dr. Seuss is racist.
It's totally racist now, yep.
What is this world coming to? So, okay, Hillary Clinton's emails. Who cares? She keeps on digging herself a hole. Well, let's get to the good stuff. I know that you couldn't wait for this. Indiana University held a practice Halloween to help students avoid offensive costumes. So Indiana University's Housing and Residence Life program recently hosted a practice Halloween so that students could learn how to avoid offensive and insulting costumes when they dress up on October 31st. The College Fix sent a reporter to the Culture Not Costumes Halloween workshop.
I couldn't be a college student today.
No.
I couldn't.
No.
When I was in college, I had probably the most vile Halloween costume I could have possibly thought of.
Please tell.
So I went as a triple Xbox.
I'm intrigued.
A triple Xbox. So I took this cardboard box, a huge one, put like string through it so I can wear it, right?
That's all you were wearing.
Plastered it in like not transgender centerfolds, like wallpapered it in porn magazines. And then you remember those old...
Of course, the material was just laying around.
Yeah, right. And then remember those old, joysticks for computer games, like for flight simulators?
Let's move on.
This is the biggest black one I could find. Plastered it to the front of the box, curving like up. And I just walked around. I mean, what the offense I would have caused in today's day and age of Halloween. It was the most hilarious costume then, but it would be the most offensive costume now.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you a message from Jesus.
Do not go as a triple Xbox.
Listen to Mike right now on college behavior being the norm.
It was a pretty awesome costume.
Anyway,
definitely a head turn.
The staff... This workshop, Culture Not Costumes, was set up so that the staff could learn precisely what it takes to be as woke as possible ahead of the traditional holiday. By the way, it's not a holiday either. You know what I mean? According to the Intrepid reporter, the workshop began with no less than 4 handouts discussing what is cultural appropriation and walking students through how to tell if a costume borrows inappropriately from a native or traditional culture. The students were also given a cartoon which demonstrated a possible path to wokeness, a flowchart which students could use to determine whether their chosen costume was indeed offensive, and finally, a handout imploring them to create costumes, not stereotypes, by avoiding decorative accessories that reinforce incorrect assumptions about certain cultures. Oddly enough, the last handout included a picture of the Mario Brothers from the Nintendo video game as a safe costume. which I find highly offensive.
Yeah, as an Italian
As an
American.
Italian, which you look very much like Mario than I do.
Like I said, Portuguese and Italian are almost the same thing. It's almost the same thing.
Yeah. So here's what cultural appropriation is, just so you know.
Enlighten me.
I just want to enlighten everyone. It's when you take on wearing things that are by definition not of your culture, and you transform yourself basically into something else. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, that's Halloween.
Yes, right.
Sorry, that's the definition of Halloween. I'm
Yep.
sorry. Cultural appropriation is the same damn thing.
Yeah.
So
It's ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. Like by definition, if you can't culturally appropriate, you can't dress up as anything for Halloween.
No.
You have to be yourself.
Yeah.
Or like you said, an inanimate object.
Ben Shapiro said you can only be yourself or an inanimate object, like a spoon.
Yeah, you said a spoon. I said handless people would object to that.
Yeah.
They'd find that offensive. I can't use a spoon. You know what I mean? Like everybody has to be offended by everything.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, where was the outrage when Elizabeth Warren said she was Native American? She totally appropriated that.
By the way,
Yeah.
Mike here wanted to dress up for the podcast, and one thing did you want me to be her?
I suggested you, but then I was like, oh, I really want to do that. I wanted to wear a lady's pantsuit and an Indian headdress and say I'm Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, pantsuit. Yeah, pantsuit.
That'd be so funny.
Yeah, just oh my gosh.
What are you,
The
Elizabeth
war
Warren?
paint.
Yeah.
Kind of like the golden hair,
Sickle and hammer instead of a tomahawk.
I personally like the mashup costumes of you ever see those inflatable horses that you pull up around you and then you just blow them up and it looks like you're riding on the horse.
Yeah.
I want a unicorn.
Yep.
I want to put on a business suit, get a gray wig and some glasses, and be Bernie Sanders on a unicorn because that's socialism in a nutshell.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
There's a lot go around as that. By the way, I'm pretty sure our watcher here, JJ, is referring to you about going too far with the Halloween costume.
I knew that 100% when I made it, and I didn't give a damn. Just like I wouldn't now in college. In fact, the more people I offended with my costume, the happier I would be. Those would be my treats in lieu of candy.
You know, who's more triggered? I wonder who's more triggered, the students or the professors? Because the professors are really the ones that are pushing this on the students.
And I really do feel like what you see from students has to be a small percentage of the student body. Like I can't imagine
I pray that that's the
kids from my experience in college anyway. I can't imagine that most college kids would get all
so much different now though.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
You just hope that the minority has a more vocal voice.
Yeah.
You know? And that they're not actually a representation of the majority instead.
Yep.
It's bad. Okay, so along similar
But yes, I
lines-
was fully aware that my costume went too far. I was like, oh, really? Is this not...
What have I done?
Is this...
I didn't know until you pointed it out to me. So along similar lines...
Yeah, I knew your kids would be at this party.
Oh,
what's wrong?
My goodness.
Oh, man.
Along similar lines to this story, at least in regards to scary encounters, a drag queen with demon-like horns read to children at the Michelle Obama Neighborhood Library. So
Now we can talk about going too far.
So let's see here. Hold on a second. So I'm going to bring this up here. Boom. This is what that looked like. Is it what? It's fine. So a drag queen wearing 5 red-tipped demon-like horns read to children at the Michelle Obama Neighborhood Library in Long Beach, California. California, who would have thought?
Did you see the video?
I can't. Yeah, I saw a video with commentary over it, so it wasn't actual reading.
So you didn't hear them singing songs about drag queens, all the kids singing along and everything?
Word.
Yeah. The drag queen does this or whatever. Like what a kid's songs, but just replacing the character with drag queen for some reason. The brainwashing starts young.
This was last Saturday as part of the LGBTQ History Month. Okay, so it's important to have representation and normalize all the letters an LGBTQIA plus in everyday lives.
Just put a plus. I give up adding letters.
Even their own community, they're like,
just plus.
You, I can't. No, I can't say sir or ma'am. Okay, listen, just
Yeah.
because we can't do that. We can't assume. No, you with the red tipped horns. Okay, what do you identify as?
Yeah.
Okay, now you over there. What letter do you need in here? And they get to this point where they're like,
all right, we're just gonna do a plus.
This isn't going to work on the radio. Obviously, we can't do this on television. It's going to take more time to explain the acronym than going over the actual details. So we're just going to cut off all the rest of this and put a plus on it. But my word, if you're looking at this picture on screen right now, I don't know if I'm getting cut off. I need to be. Yeah, there we go. That's scary for adults to look at. I mean, if I'm going into a public library, that's not what I want to be seeing right there. You know what I mean? And I heard that kids were truly upset about it. Now, some of the kids may have ended up singing along and everything, but really,
I know.
like,
but no Dr. Seuss. No Dr. Seuss.
I am of the opinion that the whole drag queen thing should not be done at all. That's just an opinion, though.
It's culture. It's gender appropriation.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Right there.
It's so offensive to women. Who do they think they are? They've never had a period before. What are they trying?
I don't know. Look at the tips of those horns.
Oh my God.
Like I said, I was going down this road. That's my opinion. Okay, I'm not going to force it on people at all. This is my opinion. I'm not going to fight it.
Yeah.
But for crying out loud, if you're going to go that route, don't jump the freaking bull and go demon drag queen.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, there's a line.
Yeah.
And you crossed it a very long time ago.
Yeah.
All right. The line was the San Andreas fault. You're in California now, baby.
Yeah, and it's again, it's that this is being done in a public library. Like it's is all these things. We get the 10 Commandments out of public schools. No nativity scenes in public things. But we can have this thing in our public schools. What the hell? I mean, seriously. It's totally fine. And if you don't agree with it, then you're a bigot.
Yep. Absolutely. Hateful bigot.
Yep.
Are you scared by that? Bigot. Let's just keep the train rolling, shall we?
Let's do it.
Or just keep the tran rolling. I couldn't even breathe on that one.
I'll say this right now. I'll say right now. This episode has no chance at monetization.
Nope.
No chance.
I don't even know if I don't even know if you can listen to the audio. Oh my word.
Oh God.
This is so bad. Okay, so Ines Rao. Is that how you would say it?
Inez Rao.
Well, when you read the article, was oh my God.
So now it's official. Now people really just want to read the articles.
Seriously. Like scribble it out.
Yeah.
Like a kid with a coloring book. No. Read. Anyway, Rao is being featured this month in Playboy as a transgender playmate.
How heroic of them.
Shot in the leg, saved some people. And in the excerpt, it says models are insecure, the same as everyone. We have bad days. We have good days too, of course, but we have help with hair, makeup, retouching, and everything. The advice I have for girls is to chill. Don't pressure yourself, embrace yourself, and be proud of who you are with your imperfections. It's all in the mind, you know?
You know?
I couldn't agree more with that last part. It is certainly all in your mind. because you have something left over in the pants too. Just saying.
That vagina you have, it's all in your mind.
It's all in your mind. People, oh man, people have said that being transgender goes against the laws of nature, but they're the same people who aren't doing anything to help nature. If you want to get a sex change, it's between myself and my body. I could hide it, but I don't because I respect people. Whew. This is like a Christmas package we have to unwrap. So people think that transgenderism goes against nature, but they also are the same ones who are against nature.
They don't know if I'm signed up to be liquefied.
Yeah.
Way to assume.
Yeah, assume. Is that the next thing that goes on the driver's licenses? Liquefied. Liquefied donor. They also said here, if I want to get a sex change, it's between myself and my body. Yeah, I agree with that. That's something we've talked about before.
Yep.
Like, I don't care what you do with yourself, you know? Mm-hmm. But one thing that kind of feeds into this, though, is like all these comedians lately, even the liberal comedians that come out and say, oh, I can't make a joke about Caitlyn Jenner. Like when we make fun of everybody else because this is a sensitive topic and everything.
Yeah.
No. The best medicine to get over this kind of stuff is actually humor.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Like if you can't be open to being made fun of in some sort of way, give me a break.
Yep.
You know? It's all in the mind. Yeah. I could hide it, but I don't because I respect people. I don't even understand what the heck that means.
I don't know what that means.
So the first transgender woman to pose for Playboy was
Listen, if you respect me, hide it.
Yeah. That's why that person was turned in the photograph. The first transgender woman to pose for Playboy was actually someone by the name of Tula back in 1991. Yeah. So originally, when the first article I saw said the first transgender centerfold or whatever.
Fake news.
Fake news. Very fake news. Great article back in 1991. Not great pictures.
Yeah. Don't blame the photographer, though. Yeah. I don't think he could have done anything. He did the best he could with what he had to work with.
Let's be honest, he had too much to work with.
Too much to work with.
He was used to a little less, if you know what I'm saying.
There was no Photoshop in 1991. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I don't know if you heard about this on Twitchy, the website that kind of tracks Twitter and keeps files of it. Did you hear about Jenna Jameson, what she said about this whole thing?
Well, I know Jenna Jameson is like super right wing. Like she's like, yeah.
But you haven't heard anything.
Well, I saw what you posted. You shared, but I forgot what you said.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
we'll go over it here. To the disgust of progressive social justice warriors on Twitter, Jameson added that yes, she did have a problem with the fact that this was a transgender centerfold. Angel isn't a centerfold, by the way. Just like she has a problem with a transgender woman competing against biological women in sports. We've talked about that in the past, too.
Of course.
One Twitter user mentioned Jameson by saying, on today's episode of Opinions No One Asked For, @Jenna Jameson is upset about a transgender playmate. Stay in your lane, boo. Okay, so just so we catch people up, Jenna Jameson is a porn star, probably the highest paid porn star of all time.
She was featured on my triple Xbox costume, probably at least once on each side. Just saying. It's not holy water, is it?
By the way, I was supposed to have Austin bring me some scotch or something like that. What have you brought me? Just nastiness. Nastiness. Anyway, she's a well-known porn star, right? Mm-hmm. So let me just read this one more time with that in the back of your mind. Yeah. This person that was going against her on this issue said, on today's episode of Opinions No One Asked For, @Jenna Jameson is upset about a transgender playmate. Stay in your lane, boo. To which Jenna Jameson responded, pretty sure if I have a lane, Playboy would be it. So, Right before, you may also know this. I know we discussed this right before we went on with the podcast and everything. But right before Hugh Hefner passed, I don't know how long it was. You would probably have a better idea. But they stopped featuring nudity.
Yeah. It's the first time I'm like, thank God for that.
So they made these types of drastic changes at the magazine and no longer show nudity. To be honest with you, at first I was a little upset about this article and the whole thing that's going on, but then I also just took a step back. Like that's been my goal a lot lately. Is like if I'm getting upset about something, take a step back, really look at the whole picture and everything.
Yeah.
We're talking about porn here. like it's a pretty bad situation as it is. Yeah. You're just kind of throwing crap into a blender now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let's see what else we can throw in there to... I'm getting a little throw up in my throat here. Because you're talking about disgustingness with, hey, let's throw in some more disgusting. You know, whatever. We got to get people used to this stuff. I mean, that's literally probably what's going on in the back of their head right now. Yeah. We need to normalize this, right? Yeah. Sometimes you just got to expect the unexpected.
You never know when your girlfriend will have an off day with her undertuck.
Used to be that you would unfold a centerfold like this. You didn't have to pull a panel out this way too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
All right. So anyway, it's just a mess. That's a mess.
Next month, centerfold will be Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. Oh
whoa. All right. So, how old's your oldest?
6.
Jeez. Okay. Has there been any mention of sex ed in school yet? No.
He's in first grade.
They like even when we were in school. Now I'm 34. You're 36.
Yep.
So when we were in school, surprisingly, it wasn't too long ago. I mean, it was the 2000s.
Yeah.
Or no, you were in 99.
99 for me. Yeah.
Fountain of Youth potion.
Yeah. Okay.
They were even teaching some stuff I feel a little too young for the age group. I remember middle school thinking like, of course, I wasn't having sex, so whatever. Oh, maybe, I don't know.
You weren't the target market. It's like, all right, football players and cheerleaders, we got some information for you. Everyone else can just like draw or do whatever.
I'm sitting there going, do you know what they're talking about here? I'm lost. What the heck is going on? So, these parents are actually infuriated after a controversial sex worksheet was given out at an Oklahoma middle school. Jay Middle School in Jay, Oklahoma, is under fire from some parents who say the school took a sex education class way too far. You see his trend here.
Jay, right. With the U and the A and B ship.
Oh, you're talking about, no.
Everything stupid just goes by a letter.
So, parent Mandy Callahan posted on Facebook that her 12-year-old daughter came to her in tears earlier this month after she was too embarrassed to complete her sex education assignment. Callahan said she understood why as soon as she read the worksheet. I was appalled at what someone in our school system had deemed appropriate to talk to my child about. My 12-year-old child, who still colors in coloring books. Well, let's be honest here. Adults are doing that nowadays.
It's one of the main activities on the millennial
college campus. Yeah.
Adult coloring book workshop.
By the way, I don't know how they do it either with all those colored crayons that might offend people.
Yeah, I know, right?
In a room where boys and girls are combined.
Did you just say colored crayon?
Yeah. Multi-waxed.
Multi-pigmented.
Yes. With male instructors or female, depending on the time of day, who are not teachers or nurses in our school system. Infuriated that she was not made aware of the school's plans to teach the students about masturbation and sex. They most certainly did not say, hey, moms and dads, we're going to be teaching your very young sons and daughters about masturbating by themselves and mutual masturbation with partners. Spend some time talking about oral sex and anal sex. Callahan said one of the male teachers allegedly told the male students in front of the rest of the class when, this is in quotes. Okay, so a male teacher told a male student this. Keep this in mind. When you're going down on a girl and it looks like cauliflower, you need to just get up out of there.
I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even know what to say to that.
It's true. You just don't say it to 12-year-olds. Joking aside, first of all, this guy, he's obviously, you don't say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you go over the details of what, I mean, maybe that's why I was a virgin for so long, because that's what I remember of all the sex ed stuff, is the pictures of what could happen. You know
yeah.
And, no. And that's all you need to do.
Yep.
Right? But I think that was at a later age. I don't think I was, I don't know, middle school?
Yeah, 12 is awfully young for this.
I don't know. This is crazy. So according to Callahan, the school district claimed they sent home a pamphlet not requiring a parental signature, but Callahan said she never saw one. We never saw a pamphlet, so we didn't have the opportunity to get her out of the class before it started. Signatures for permission were not required, but you could opt out depending on who you talk to because we got different answers on the permission part. Callahan also told the Blaze that her 12-year-olds received several notes from her classmates thanking her for speaking up and getting that class stopped.
I can't imagine one parent being okay with it.
Oh, I can.
You can? I just like, what the hell's wrong with you?
No, it's again, listen, I will tell you this. I know of no parents on the right that would be okay with it. But there is this, they want this stuff taught in elementary school.
Yeah.
I've seen stuff, they're talking about like, they're prepping them younger and younger. Okay, so maybe it's not going over like diseases and stuff like that, STDs and stuff, but we're talking about grooming them younger and younger for the sexual part, right?
Yep.
So now instead of fairy tale stories involving a prince and a princess, it's a princess and a princess, or a prince and a prince, and like they're setting it up earlier and earlier, and like, okay, that doesn't sound like much, right? And I could be criticized for that, I'm sure, by someone on the left saying, well, it's about love and blah, 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 But let's talk frankly about this. This is about trying to prep a sexual relationship and normalizing that.
Yep.
That sexual portion of it, right? Because that's the next step in line with the teaching.
Yeah.
So I think that they keep on prepping kids younger and younger, and it's just, thank God my wife is homeschooling. That's all I gotta say. Honestly, I just every day I look at this stuff and I think, no way.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm asked over and over again why I don't run for the school board again. You know what I mean? I mean, I could, even if my kids are homeschooled and everything.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you. You sit there and you listen to everything that's being done on a federal level even, and being crammed down your throat, right? And you literally sit there and you get reports on how everything's crumbling, okay? Then you get reports on everything that's being crammed down your throat from a federal level that you can't do anything about.
Yeah.
That's causing more crumbling, right?
Yeah.
And you sit there and you become a budget person. You are all about the budget. You can't do anything curriculum based because it's frowned upon and it's already set and everything else.
Yep.
And what ends up happening then is you feel like you're not doing enough to make change for the crumbling portions, when in reality, if you take a step back, you realize that you can't do anything, right? So my answer to that, to those people that ask me, is there's nothing I can do. And I would sometimes, just like anybody that's recovering from something, you have to hit rock bottom first. And public education has to hit rock bottom. And it's well on its way, trust me. It is well on its way. It's over the cliff, Any more in relation to that at all?
It's just making me fear. Like,
time to start homeschooling.
4th grade.
So did you hear about Pennsylvania, what they're planning on doing? Mm-mm. Legislation they're trying to push up for vote in the November elections on the ballot box is to eliminate property tax. Mm-hmm. Property tax obviously being something that's used to support the public school system and everything. Yeah. And in my video that I shot, Breakup Letter with Public Education, mm-hmm. I actually went over deeper details than what the WFMZ around here posted in regards to the benefits of doing away with property tax, which is, it's really abundant, right? I just want to quickly go over this because I think it's a very important topic. I think that people should be getting out and voting in the November elections anyway, but I feel that this is a really awesome opportunity to do this. Yep. There are states without a property tax, okay, and I'll get into the benefits of that. But in regards to a property tax paying school tax, paying for the schools and everything, one thing to bear in mind is that you can't take away the school, that kind of school funding, without replacing it with something else. So the theory involved would then be to increase other types of sales taxes, that things that are sold within Pennsylvania, that is allocated towards education. Yep. So there would be a possibility to possibly increase the sales tax by 2% and allocate that directly towards education. Now, the neat thing about that, if you're talking about that fiscal avenue alone, is the fact that you can take that allocation and do it on a per student basis. Actually take that lump sum, see how many students there are in the state, and divvy it up according to those students to push into the schools. Yeah. I'll go a little further than that in a second. But the neat thing about it too, it's not only Pennsylvanians that are spending money in Pennsylvania. Okay. Yeah. So anybody that's traveling through will spend money in Pennsylvania, and that money will go towards our kids' education. On top of that, it actually incentivizes our governor and elected officials to give incentives to businesses to set up shop here in Pennsylvania. Okay, yep. Because if we can give tax breaks to the businesses, knowing that it will attract consumers in various different venues of commerce, that will attract those people that will then end up spending more money that will go towards our educational system. Yep. Now, on a personal basis, why is it important that we don't pay property taxes? Number one, first and foremost, the dream and vision for America is to own your own property and make your way. You pay off your mortgage, fantastic. Yep. You own your house, congratulations. You stop paying your property tax, guess what? You're losing that house. Yep. All right? Yep. You don't truly own your property. So the fantastic thing about this is it truly should open a door to allow you to actually own your property. I think that's fantastic. Yep. Number two, really important as well. Senior citizens and people without kids will not end up paying a school tax that they're not utilizing themselves. Yep. People, it sucks, okay? A couple of years ago when I was on the school board, we had a decision to make on, because of Obamacare being instituted, the people that were hired under the assumption that they were not getting health care would suddenly have health care that had to be provided by the employer. Okay? The employer gets that money from the taxpayers. Yep. In this case, a public school, right? It would have increased our budget by about $4 million to cover the people that didn't have health insurance. So now I'm going to the taxpayer and saying, hey, guess what? These people here, they said that they would work for us based on these criteria, that we're paying them this much per hour, this, and this, and they agreed to not be given health insurance. And they said that that's fine. They signed up and are our employees, right? Yep. But the federal government has come along and said that that doesn't matter. That contract between you and the employee does not mean squat, and now you have to pay for their health insurance, okay? So our budget just went up $4 million. I need you guys to shovel it out. That's a big deal. Yep. Now, the hard part about that is people that, especially senior citizens that live on fixed incomes, okay? And if you're living on a fixed income and your millage is being increased on your property taxes all the time to pay for these types of things, especially when it's not the fault of anyone in the district, it's federally mandated at this point, that becomes harder and harder for them to actually sustain a livable environment for them as elderly people on a fixed income. On top of that, there's plenty of people that have no kids in school anymore, right? That are paying this tax. Yep. So this saves those people as well. Now, those are some really great points that weren't made public by WFMZ or other articles that I read in regards to this being a really good outcome for eliminating the property tax, as long as you substitute another tax to increase the revenue. I believe personally, and I don't know this for sure, but I believe that a 2 to 4% increase in the sales tax would actually exceed what was being given to the schools in the first place. I don't know that for sure, especially once you start giving incentives to businesses and stuff, that it could actually foster that into more money for the students. First of all, on top of that, I know I'm going rambling on.
No, it's
good information. It's proven now in horrible school districts like Maryland and Detroit that throwing money at it from a federal level does not fix the problems. That is not going to fix the problems. Hasn't fixed the problems. Okay, so even though it involves the allocation of more money towards the public education sector, does not mean that education is going to get better. That I think is great. Even if we just end right there, that is fantastic. But I think it can go further, of course. Once we reach that stage, I personally believe that you should be able to take that allocation per student and give it in vouchers, where the students and families can pick the schools that they go to based on where they feel they would be best be able to excel as a student. Okay? That does two things. It takes the money out of the public schools that are doing bad. Okay? Which, that's tough luck. Sorry. But guess what? You need to do what leads to number 2. You need to start competing and doing a better job of educating our kids. Okay? And if you're not going to do that, the students aren't going to go to that school. And if they're not going to that school, that says something about your education level. So I think it's a huge benefit.
Yeah, I mean, the just having the choice is super important and valuable. Because I mean, even with our kids, where we live, we were in the district of an elementary school that was a failing school. So luckily, we were able to do open enrollment, and I got them into it's either the first or second in the district school. So that just takes that kind of idea to another level of being able to really choose whatever school you want to go to. You know.
Now that opens up the question from the left, of course, usually, that there's only a finite number of seats in a school. Right? So you have to hold basically a lottery. Almost,
someone's going to have to go to the
crappy
schools.
You know, it's a first come, first served basis, I believe. You know, or these students were going there first. If they want to stay, they're able to stay. Then the seats that open up as a lottery type system, or however you want to do that. You know, but listen, I have friends that are more conservative on fiscal issues and liberal on social issues that have argued with me that say, you know, I live in a school district that has higher property taxes, and it keeps our schools better because it keeps the people that can't afford that and cause problem at lower income area schools from getting into those neighborhoods and everything. I completely understand that. Honestly, I don't have a solution for that. There's smarter people than me that can figure this stuff out. But let me tell you something. I think on an individual basis, I don't care. It comes down to my children and their education and what they're getting. I really don't care about what's going on in your school district and the people that move in and everything. You know, this becomes a busing issue too. I don't know if this is a statewide or nationwide thing, but I believe for our school district, last I learned, that as long as a school district is within like 10 miles outside of the school district's range that it covers, that the school district is responsible for busing individuals within that area to those schools outside the area. So
that's one thing with the open enrollment is that Jackson can't take the bus ever. We have to drive him. You know, because the buses only go to the school.
But you made that choice.
Hey,
if these people are all about choice,
I know.
Right there, that's choice.
We're pro-choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Somehow you joined the conversation here.
Oh, I did?
Yeah. Congratulations. No, you're right.
Oh, Tracy might be using my laptop for school.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
All right, so let's talk about some technology. A report says that Apple censored pro-life group by removing their app from the store. Okay, a pro-life group claims that tech giant Apple dropped their prayer application from the App Store after liberal bloggers complained that it was listed on the store's directory I have really bad heartburn, sorry. And then the company lied to them about why it was taken down. Human Coalition said that not only did Apple remove their app after receiving pressure from pro-abortion activists, but that the company lied to them about why they removed the app, which became apparent after they gave a demonstration to Apple. In July, on the heels of pro-abortion media pushback, Apple notified us that they had removed the Human Coalition app from the App Store, citing violations of certain functionality requirements. The Human Coalition officials said, however, Human Coalition spoke with Apple and demonstrated that not only were the cited requirements met, but that the Human Coalition app exceeded minimum requirements and functioned better than similar apps from other developers.
Not surprising at all.
Apple, Google, YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Well, YouTube is part of Google. Facebook.
Yep.
This is censoring all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They can't stand opposing opinion with well-based facts.
Yep.
When they're losing the argument, the first thing that they do is shut down the argument.
Yeah. It's a total power trip, because they have the ability to do it easily, and they just don't care. Just lay the hammer down no matter what.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the classic example of like two people arguing and one is clearly winning the argument, the other one just goes, just shut up.
Yeah. Or walks away.
Yeah.
So here's a topic that's right up your alley.
Yeah. Oh! This is not featured on my costume. Just so you know.
So apparently hackers are able to remotely control electric butt plugs. And this is a warning from IT security experts. Technology experts have been able to remotely hack a Bluetooth-enabled butt plug and take control of the vibrating sex toy. The security breach was discovered.
Wouldn't that be considered like a feature?
The security breach was discovered by Italian researcher Giovanni Mellini, who posted his findings in a blog post where he said he was able to take control of the Hush butt plug from his laptop. The Lovense manufactured device is designed to be a long-distance love toy and is the world's first teledildonic
Teledildonic.
Which can be
Word
controlled,
of the day.
which can be controlled from anywhere. Mr. Mellini said he was able to hack into the Hush device after a joke with a friend. That's an excuse if I ever heard one. But later decided to follow through on his joke to test out the security of the Bluetooth Low Energy protocol. The Hush product is the latest plug, which can be remotely controlled and connected to smartphones and computers via Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Listen, there's a point when technology goes too far. I got to be honest with you. All right?
We thought Skynet was that point, but nope.
No. When the end of the world looks like this instead of the Terminator, we got problems, people. We know we have gone too far with technology.
Exploding butt plugs.
Yeah, that's the next ISIS attack. We're so afraid of our power grid.
Yeah. Oh, God. We're not looking for vests anymore. FBI SWAT teams, we're not looking for vests.
And think of how terrorists would smuggle those things in.
Just look for an off-kilter walk.
Yeah. Yet, technology experts have said that more often than not, cybersecurity is not considered. So, just know when you're shopping for these devices that you see it's certified to not be hackable, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, my word.
God.
How do you feel about that? It's a dirty topic.
It's very dirty.
Listen, I have to have some fun with these topics. Or I'm already I'm on empty. You know, I've been working since I had a couple hours sleep last night, but literally from 7:30 a.m. yesterday.
Oh, man.
This has been crazy. All right, so let's talk about the Me Too stuff.
Hashtag Me Too.
Why don't you describe it?
So basically, it's the hashtag that's kind of gained popularity since the Harvey Weinstein scandal. Mm-hmm. So now, when more and more people are sharing their stories and kind of coming out and blowing the whistle on some of these people, they're using the hashtag Me Too, so it can be easily tracked, and everyone can just kind of read up on all the awfulness that's going on in the world, in Hollywood.
So, did you say what hashtag Me Too, like what it leads to, discussion wise?
No.
Like it's basically a bunch of women, as many women as possible, coming out and giving their own personal stories of harassment or abuse and everything. Mm-hmm. So essentially, how horrible men are.
Yeah.
Which I'm not even going to necessarily disagree with.
Yeah.
I'm not. And there's no defense there. Men are pigs. Talk about Bluetooth-enabled butt plugs.
Or my Halloween costume.
Yeah, there goes your Halloween costume. Now everyone's going to do it. You show up to a party. I didn't know you were wearing that.
Hashtag Me Too. I was just an innocent girl going to a college Halloween party when this a-hole showed up.
Well, here's the thing. It was started after the whole Harvey Weinstein controversy and everything, and I started to see it only lasted a day. Mm-hmm. I only saw it last a day. Are people still doing it?
Okay, well, you heard about George H.W. Bush, right?
Well, off of my favorite show. My favorite actress on the show, too.
Oh, really?
You ever watch Turn?
No, but it's been on my list. I've wanted to watch it. I heard Fantastic. It's really good.
Yeah, my wife and I binged it as much as possible. Mm-hmm. Yes. So the actress on the show, who I forget her name on the show, but apparently George Bush was wheelchair bound at the time.
George Bush Senior. Yep.
In a wheelchair.
Yep. She's
standing next to him for a photo op. Well, where is your arm in relation to how far can a 93-year-old raise his arm? Out of a wheelchair. Was he going to rest his hand on her shoulder? Here, sweetheart.
Yeah.
He put it around, and apparently the running joke is about David Copperfield.
Yeah. Well, apparently that's the joke he tells
all the time to try and make people feel a little bit more comfortable. That his hand has to be basically right around their waist or on their butt. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he says,
"Who's my favorite magician? David Copperfield."
Yeah. So
and apparently Barbara Bush is always like, "Oh, there he goes again."
Yeah. Yeah. So she knows it.
Yeah.
She's standing right there. She's an enabler.
Yet Hillary Clinton is a women's hero.
Yeah, exactly.
For dragging rape accusers' reputations through the mud.
Did Barbara use the FBI to hush up these people and this actress to...
Yeah, right.
Oh, my word. It's horrible.
Yep.
But, listen, I read a couple friends' stories that were pretty horrendous. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that didn't share the more in-depth stuff. You know?
Yeah.
But some of the stuff that's being shared isn't exactly sexual harassment. It's some of the stuff that's being shared is annoyances.
Yeah.
Okay. For instance, the one secretary, I believe, for Bob Weinstein, the brother of Harvey, came out and said that she was sexually harassed by him because he asked her out on more than one occasion. That's not sexual harassment.
No.
That's a guy who thinks that you're playing hard to get, which is typical. Sorry,
Yep.
And you saying no and him hoping that he actually does have a chance in the end or something. You know what I mean? That's not sexual harassment. I'm sorry.
And when you're a multimillionaire and you're asking out your secretary, you probably think that you probably have a pretty good chance.
I ain't saying never mind.
Now you said no, and it didn't go any further than him maybe asking again another day. That's not sexual harassment.
Nope.
Yeah.
Let's go into...
now, if you said no and he was like, come on, sweetheart.
I think that this article is actually going to open up this discussion to a whole new area, too. Okay. At a women in entertainment event on last Monday, actress Jessica Chastain.
Yep.
She's the one in the new Jurassic World, right?
No, that was Ron Howard's daughter. Jessica Chastain was in... she was in... I think she was in that... the one about the Middle East, the bomb guy. Jeremy Renner was in it. It won
Her
the
Locker?
Academy Award. Yes. Pretty sure she was in that. And she's been in a bunch of other stuff.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure she's not in what I just said, Lost World? Who is that?
That's Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
So anyway, she unloaded on Hollywood's hypocrisy and exposed in a glaring way over the last 2 weeks by the accusations of sexual misconduct against mega producer Harvey Weinstein, who alleged behavior was an open secret in Hollywood for decades. Keep that in mind. Decades. She said this is an industry rife with racism, sexism, and homophobia. This was an actress who quickly came out in condemnation of Weinstein and those who looked the other way over the last couple decades. It's so closely woven into the fabric of the business that we have become snowblind to the glaring injustices happening every day. Oh, we're very quick to point the finger at others and address the issue with social action and fundraising, she continued, yet there is a clear disconnect between how we practice what we preach in our industry. We rally against the presidential candidate who slants a narrative of his sexual assault as mere locker room talk, but at the same time, we ignore the stories and warnings of sexual predators in our offices. Right? That opens up a whole other discussion for me. Okay. Let's lay some ground first. Sexual harassment, sexual abuse is completely wrong. I know personally victims of this stuff that are. It's horrible. Okay, it's inexcusable and everything else. It shouldn't happen, and yeah, guys have a tendency to be disgusting. All right, that's true.
And so do girls.
Absolutely.
So do girls. Let's just say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, some of these stories I'm reading in regards to the Me Too stuff, like, you know, I would get made fun of if I said, which is true, that when I was working as a server, I had a female manager who constantly hit on me and like asked me out and like was relentless about it.
Yeah.
And I was not physically attracted to her. She was actually awesome. She was, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't physically attracted to her though, and my joking around, my sense of humor and everything, I guess that's what she liked, but it was relentless, right?
Yeah.
And eventually it got to a point where like, yeah, I was annoyed too, but I'm not going to classify that as sexual harassment.
Yeah.
She also slapped me on the butt a couple times, okay?
Totally okay if a girl does it.
Yeah, exactly. It's hypocrisy, right?
Yeah.
And if I tell that story, I would get laughed at.
Yeah.
If I claimed that's sexual harassment, not abuse. Abuse is something different.
Yep.
But I would get laughed at by someone that claims that the same on the opposite spectrum is saying that that's harassment. If I tell the same story, they'd be like, oh, come on. You're a guy. You know, you wanted that size stuff.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's go into Hollywood.
Yep.
Because this is where the meat is, I think, okay? I'm not victim shaming or victim blaming here, okay? Because I believe that there's a deeper narrative to this whole Harvey Weinstein thing. But listen, if this was a narrative that was floating around Hollywood for decades, they say, okay, then what this is telling me is that these actresses and actors who refuse to stand up against Harvey Weinstein did so because they didn't want to jeopardize their career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? They felt that it was more important for them to keep their jobs in acting because they might get their faucet might get shut off for jobs that are allowed to them if they spoke up against this guy.
Yeah.
You know what that did? That allowed him to keep on doing what he was doing and perpetuate the situation and hurt people further down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? So I'm not
How many less people would have been abused or harassed if the first person he abused or harassed spoke up about it?
Yep, and every person after that.
And then just down the line.
They may be right. They may lose their job, but what's more important? Okay?
Yep.
Some of these people are claiming that they were raped by him.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, if you say that the guy masturbated into a pot plant in front of you and that was the extent of what he did, that's freaking disgusting.
Yeah.
But if you get that leaked out into the media and stuff, I mean, come on. It's gonna deteriorate his character. On top of that, you know, yes, there may be some backlash in your career in that the first people that speak up might not ever work in Hollywood again, right? But on their conscience, they know that they have started something that stops actresses down the line from being abused themselves.
Yeah.
And if enough people keep on coming out,
then that stigma goes away.
It's going to form a narrative on this guy that maybe these first couple that spoke up weren't full of crap.
Yep.
And trying to do something. Maybe this is the way this guy is.
Yeah.
He would have been out of there 20 years ago.
Yeah.
At least.
It reminds me of that conversation that I tagged you in. Do you remember how it started? How I was saying how, like, you know, the economy doing better. Oh, well, clearly you just care about making money and not about...
the same conversation we discussed earlier.
Yeah, earlier, yeah. So I was basically, it was thrown at me that, all you care about is your 401k and you making money, and you don't care about all the injustices going on in the world. Yet, these actresses can stay quiet because they want to protect their jobs and keep making money, but they don't want to, you know, possibly cause change for the betterment of the industry. You know?
Yeah.
So,
and the other great point that was brought up, I believe it was Ben Shapiro that said it, who said all these people that are using the hashtag Me Too and everything, that doesn't do anything. That tells the story of what you went through. If you really want to affect change, name names on who's doing this stuff. Okay? Put it out there on who actually did this stuff to you so that you can make change effectively happen. Now, go ahead if you want to go off of that.
Are you familiar with the gymnast from the Olympics, Michaela Maroney?
No.
She was the one in the Summer Olympics gymnast that had that famous picture where she was like photographed going like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she came out and said that it's not just Hollywood, that apparently there's been this doctor, and she named him, and she said there's this doctor that is for years and years and years and years has been the doctor of the U.S. women's gymnast team for the Olympics, and he basically gave people this is so sick, it's unbelievable. From as young as like 9 to like, you know, these gymnasts in the Olympics, they're like 14, 13 or whatever. Basically treatments to help their alignment of their hips or whatever, where he basically like inserted and like moved around their leg basically to help their flexibility and stuff like that. And it was for like 29 years or something like that, you know. And that's what she did. She said who it was, you know. And apparently he's been convicted of child pornography. He's been has 100 counts before this. He has 100 counts.
And they let him near these
gymnast from like the early like 2000s or late 90s or something like that, had a whole story about him too and everything, and it's just like it didn't stop, you know. So crazy.
The problem is right now that it seems to have opened a door to witch hunts too, right? Which is like, you know, some of these like I said aren't really sexual harassment or abuse, right? But now it's like open season on, well, let's see what other famous men and everything we can get in trouble for things. Right? Which, listen, if they did do something bad,
they should get in trouble.
Names. You know? Don't just give us a story of what happened. If you want to affect change, these types of people need to be behind bars. You know? I'm not going to speak for you. I'm not going to ask you to speak for yourself. But for me, I was never that type of person. Okay, I can say without a doubt, I have never sexually harassed even someone. Okay, that being said, here's another problem I have with this whole Me Too thing. You say that, especially in regards to sexual harassment, abuse is, like I said, something completely different. The guys that sexually harass are the polar opposite of the guys that were the good guys that you always put on the sideline as your friend. Okay?
That you're friend zoned.
I know, because I was always friend zoned, until my 20s and everything. And, you know, and I watched these girls go for the guys that literally all their pickup routine was based on sexual harassment. Slapping the butts and basically being as frank as possible. This is what I want from you. Oh, you know, they loved it. You know, and I sat there as the sideline friend zone guy and watched that stuff happen. So I'm calling BS on a lot of this stuff too. Sorry, but it's true. You know, there's holes in this whole Me Too hashtag. And Alyssa Milano is just crazy. She's bad crap crazy. I mean, let's be honest. She's made the news multiple times in the past couple of weeks. She was on the episode, the Mandalay Bay. What was our topic on that?
For with Alyssa Milano?
Oh, it was Alyssa Milano. I don't think I did say that though. I don't know. I'm losing it. I'm really tired.
You totally lost.
I'm really tired. I was
like, wait, what? Mandalay Bay?
Yeah, no. In that episode, I remember because I did the Photoshop for the cover of it, image, and
she was in there?
She was in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know we talked about her a long time ago when I first started coming on with you.
Yeah, what was that about? She's always making the news for stupid stuff that she says on Twitter.
Yep.
You know, gone are the days of who's the boss.
I know.
It's such a shame.
Yeah.
But then again, we don't want to go back to that as adults because that's wrong.
Yeah.
It's really sick. Any more on the Me Too discussion at all? Because I think that those are some pretty glaring things that are out there.
Yeah.
Number one, not victim blaming here, but these celebrities should have been out a long time ago, and it would have saved other celebrities.
Yeah.
And all they cared about was their career, not what was happening.
When you're in an award show, right? And Meryl Streep's up there literally calling Harvey Weinstein a god, and in the audience are probably like 10, 20, 30 women that he's harassed, and they're all clapping. They're all cheering. I mean,
and not only that, she specifically said that Roman Polanski, I thought she said Roman Polanski was a god. I don't know.
No, she was when he got that award. She was the first one standing for the standing ovation for Roman Polanski when he wasn't there to accept it because he had fled the country for raping a 13-year-old in some jacuzzi.
Yep.
It's like so sick.
I think he drugged her.
Yeah, he drugged her and then raped her. Yeah, and I mean she's 13.
Meryl Streep should be on notice as an actress. She should be thrown out of Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean. Everyone gives her all this credit for being such a great actress. It's like, oh, come on.
She's not a great actress.
You read lines someone else wrote for you. You're playing make-believe. I mean, like, what the
Jerry
hell?
Seinfeld.
Yes. Yes, he's so right.
It's so great.
It's so
Stand
true.
there. Okay, now say what I told you to say.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, you're amazing.
You're amazing.
You're so
Someone get this person an award.
Yeah, let's give him a golden statue. Like, come on. Give me a break.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Oh, God. Yeah.
But I cut you off. Do you have anything more to say?
No. I mean,
Me Too discussion.
Covered it pretty well.
All right. Well, listen, that's basically all the topics for tonight.
Yep.
I think we both need some rest. I'm so beat.
You're going off the rails.
I am. Yeah. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
Yeah, I got like an hour drive home.
Yeah. Hashtag me too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So anyway, listen, I appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. There were some comments and everything, which was great. People getting involved. That doesn't mean that the conversation is over. Head over to the YouTube version when it's up and running and comment on the different sections as it's going. Certainly get involved with us on the Facebook page. Search for the Generation Y Conservative. Hit like and get notifications, whether you agree with us or not. We like to get involved in those discussions. Now, if you're going to be like the discussion that we got into, or... Did you happen to see the science discussion? My brother-in-law is I forget, bio something, like he got a science degree and whatnot, right? And I posted an article about another great link in evolution and stuff like that. And I was like, science is always changing on this crap.
Yeah.
But God and what he says is forever. It's unchanging, right?
Yeah.
Well, of course, it started a whole science discussion. And one of his friends jumped in who's also went to school for science stuff. And immediately in the very first comment, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, listen, guess what? If you're going to be that person and stoop low and throw mud and be an a-hole, I'm not going to respond to you because you've already started at the lowest common denominator and attacked personal character instead of going and discussing the topic with facts. If you want to throw facts at me, I'll debate you on the facts, but I'm not going to debate on personal character when I don't know you and you certainly as hell don't know me. You know what I mean? Let that be known for anyone that disagrees with me that wants to have a discussion with me on anything. I'm not going to get into it with you if you're name calling and stuff. That's all there is to it. We could talk about the most social issues out there, okay? If you want to stick to facts, I am more than happy to have a great conversation with people that disagree with me. But I'm not going to do that because that's below my character, which I hold high.
And it's also when you start out at that point, the conversation isn't going to go anywhere.
You can't go up anymore. You have created a wall at that point that says this is going to be a dirty game between the two of us of attacking personal character with veering away from facts as much as possible. That's all there is to it. So anyway, I want to thank everyone again for joining us tonight. You can catch me on Facebook, search for The Generation Y Conservative. You can find me on YouTube, search for The Generation Y Conservative. I'm there. Hit subscribe, hit the bell notification when we publish videos. I didn't even go into what the heck at the beginning of the night, why it's so different there, right? So we do the videos. The podcast will be on there. We also do movie reviews. The next movie review that we're talking about doing is Thor, which I am super excited about.
Next week, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, Star Wars is coming up. I might have to see the Justice League and review that, which has a shorter runtime than any other DC film.
Oh, they said it's a hair under 2 hours, like an hour 59 minutes or something like that.
Collaboration between all the superheroes, and you're going to go under 2 hours?
Well, I think that it might be a good thing, because it might have been over bloated, and this might just be like streamline it more, because and we'll got to see. He's
a DC apologist.
Please. So there would be none of these Marvel movies if Batman didn't come before. So let's just get that straight.
Oh boy. Anyway,
this wouldn't exist. This whole industry.
So we have movie reviews that are pushed out on the site as well, on YouTube channel. That one's going to be a fun one coming up. Great reviews so far from people that have seen it. Also, other offshoot videos that we post on there too. We have things that we're working on. I say it every week. Nothing comes up. We will work on things.
Things will be worked on.
If you want to interact with me on Twitter, you can always find me at Gen Y Conservative. Without the E on the end, you can't find Mike on there. He doesn't want to get personal with anybody on Twitter, so that's fine. You may have to set one up for the show. That's what I'm suggesting.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay?
All right, I'll think about
it. Okay. Also, you can find this podcast re-aired audio only on KLR and internet radio on Sundays from 3 to 6 p.m. And they have put me on the iTunes as well. So if you search for the Generation Y Conservative podcast in the iTunes marketplace, you can also subscribe there. In the meantime, until next time, have a great night and God bless America.